Hello, here we go, it's the Kopite podcast.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the Kopite podcast. I'm Mick Moran, as usual. I'm joined again by Matt Ramirez. How you doing, Matt, lad? Welcome back again. Hat-trick hero.
Again.
Hat-trick hero, lad.
That is back. Yeah.
Let's just get it over with. Aston Villa 7, Liverpool 2. I think one word which Klopp used, said to Dean Smith after the big final whistle, was wow. And I think that pretty much sums it up. Like, because conceding 7, I know we're away from home, but it sounds like a game of FIFA 20. Like, and I wish that was the case, but sadly not. It was probably the worst performance we've seen in Klopp's 5 years, and it was our worst defeat for 57 years. Yep. Unpick the game for me, Matt. Go on, just rant to me. Go on, lad.
Wow. Wow. You know what? Towards the end, I was laughing. It was that ridiculous, that easy, and I think it's a bit of a wake-up call, I guess. Like, we're an amazing team, and obviously we're very good going forward, and we're usually very good defensively, but it's highlighted the fact that there's areas that can still be improved. I know Adrian's getting a lot of stick, and for the first goal, rightly so, because shit, how can a professional footballer not pass a ball 10 yards or whatever? But other than the first goal, can't really do much for the rest. But yeah, wow.
Yeah, I think it was 4 minutes, wasn't it? What fucking Ollie Watkins is given a gift, basically. Adrian, I think Robertson passed back to Adrian. Adrian's, I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to play to Gomez with his weak foot when he's got a bit of time, actually, when you look back at it. He's got at least 10 seconds to decide what he wants to do, or at least 7 or 8 seconds. He's just panicked. He's played it with his left foot. He's played it too far, and they scored. I think Grealish passed it to Grealish, and Grealish has squared it for Watkins, and they go 1-0 up, and it's like, oh, okay, fair enough. Like, we went 1-0 down to Arsenal. Same again. Tempo will be immediately switched up, and we won't give them an inch now. And then I think it was 22nd minute they go and get another one, which, to be fair, was a decent goal, but another one which is preventable. What did you think of that second goal?
Well, one more thing on the first one is there's a host of errors. Like, there's the pass, which is a shocking pass anyway, but then there's his decision to pass, because Gomez was pressured relatively closely by Grealish anyway, so if he would have gotten the ball, it would have been under pressure. And secondly, when Grealish does get the ball, where is Gomez going? Because it's as if Gomez thought the goal was there, so he went to cover that area and just left it very easy to pass it to Watkins. So I think his defensive his whereabouts were completely off. And for the second goal, just Trent and Gomez again. Trent defensively, we all know is very suspect, and he got found out massively last night. Gomez as well he's not Van Dijk. We knew he wasn't Van Dijk, but Watkins just blasts past him way too easily. For a centre-back that a lot of people rate as England's best centre-back, he needs to be doing a lot more than that.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt in Joe Gomez's quality. Like, don't get me wrong, I still think he is England's best centre-back, to be honest. On current form, maybe not, but I still think overall, if I had to pick one, even trying not to be biased, I still think he's England's best centre-back, and he's only 23.
Yeah, usually he's quite consistent, and on his day, he's unplayable. But yesterday, we saw the worst of him.
Yeah, I think that's just coupled with Adrian not having a great game. I don't think anyone was that good. I think it was just a combination of everything. The high line, them just picking us off, us not learning from mistakes. I think Klopp summed it up perfectly. He said he wasn't annoyed by the first goal. He was annoyed by the reaction to the goals. Like I said before, usually we concede one it's right, right, fuck that. We're gonna score 2 now to get back in the lead. And it just we had a few false starts. Like Salah gets one back for us on the 33rd minute, and you're like, right, there we go.
Yeah.
Here's where the cogs start whirring as we start banging some goals in. Then 2 minutes later, we get the first deflected goal of the night from McGinn off a corner.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was just, for me at that moment, I was like, it's not going to be our night. Yeah, like it's just.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the performance, which in itself wasn't good enough, I think, was it 3 or 4 deflected goals?
3, I think.
When that happens, it's just not your night. You can't blame anyone. Well, you could say the defence didn't run out quick enough, but you can't really blame anyone if a deflected goal goes in. You certainly can't blame Adrian, who was running the other way. It's just one of the things that happens, I guess. We're going to benefit. We have benefited from a few deflected goals. But now this one is just 3 came in one game and you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, and I understand like the absolute outrage on Twitter and whatever. And it's just a shame that the people that were already getting a bit of grief on Twitter, and Adrian and Gomez, both their performances, just like you're trying to be like the sensible one in a debate, going, well, they'll come good eventually. Like especially in Adrian's case, anyway. Like he's good, but he's going to be better. Surely he's going to get better at playing alongside Alisson, learning from him. Sure, that's going to benefit him, and he's not. He's doing the absolute opposite to. Like, at what point does he become indefensible? That's the worry.
My issue with Adrian is that I don't doubt his abilities as a goalkeeper. I think he's very solid. He's a very good shot stopper. When he makes a save, or when he's called upon to make a save, he usually makes it. And one-on-ones, the guy's pretty solid. He doesn't get beat on a one-on-one that often. It's when the ball's at his feet. And it's this insistence to play the ball out the back, which I get, it's the Liverpool way, and I get with Alisson, do it. But if you've got Adrian, who all of his mistakes, if you look back, out of the Champions League because of his distribution, now we go behind in this game because of his distribution again. If he can't get it right, just lump it. We're going to win it back. Just lump it. There's no need to risk it if your keeper's not sure with the ball at his feet, because it just creates this sort of air of uncertainty around the rest of the team, and then it's as if we've got Mignolet or Karius back in goal.
Yeah, I think I put a tweet up like nervous keeper equals nervous team, equals nervous back four equals nervous team, and it is true. Like it's no fluke that once we signed Alisson and Van Dijk, we started winning things.
Yeah,
that's not a coincidence, and it's clearly. It's a difficult one because I think he's a good keeper. He is a good keeper. Like he was absolutely shambolic yesterday, and he's not, like you said, he's good. Certain elements of his game, he's great. Like the one-on-one, I think he made a good one-on-one stop last night.
Yeah,
one of their second half. Yeah, good stop, and you're just expecting them to score, but he is quite good at them, and he does stop certain ones. But it's the knock-on effect that he brings to the rest of the team. It's that 4 minutes in, you're like, we're away from home, let's try and keep it tight, let's try and nick an early goal if we can. And we've went and done the opposite as a result of a goalkeeping error. And I know Klopp said he doesn't care about that, but really he probably does behind closed doors. He's probably saying to Adrian, like, it's not acceptable, pretty much.
Yeah,
because
I mean, if Villa go in front because of a brilliant piece of football, and then they sort of bang one in with a brilliant bit of play, I think the reaction is different from Liverpool.
Yeah, if the second goal was the first goal, I'd be like, fucking hell, fair enough. Like we still could have done better defensively, but that goal, as on the whole, was a decent goal, and you've got to just go, right, that was a good goal.
And I think the team would react differently. But then when you consider, I think the fact that the first goal was a mistake from a player that had come in last minute, that was already, his distribution was already being questioned. I think the whole team just sort of went, shit, and just didn't act the way that we expected them to.
It's disappointing, isn't it? And like, it's not, you can't blame solely Alisson. Not Alisson, sorry, I wish it was Alisson. You can't blame Adrian solely because there was a lot of players at the risk yesterday. Like, we just on Joe Gomez. Van Dijk was all right, but he wasn't the usual self. There was only maybe 2 or 3 you could say came away with some credibility from that performance. We're just fine.
I think Salah, all things considered, did all right. There was a point in the second half which really sort of epitomised what the hell is going on, where it was Salah, our right wing / striker, sprinting back in the right back position behind Trent to win the ball back. And it was sort of like he was just trying to wake the team up on his own. So I think he's one of the ones that doesn't need to hang his head in shame, because apart from the fact that he scored 2, he put a shift in as much as he could. I think Naby was a bit harsh that he came off at half time. I thought he was all right. All right. I think Robbo did all right going forward. We found a lot of joy down the left wing, and Yotta, the poor guy, didn't really have much to feed on. But it just wasn't. Yeah, I fours all around really.
Yeah, I thought Yotta was all right. Like we can't really expect him to come in and go right. He's going to be our secondary Mane and just tear them up. Like he was getting at their back four. He had a couple of shots early doors. He was making himself available. Like he was in and around the right areas. It's just like it was just the worst performance I've seen for a long time. Like I can't even think of it. Something we can compare it to. Maybe Stoke, where we got beat 6-1, maybe. But I still think it was worse than that. As a whole, as a collective, where we are as a team. We were missing Thiago, Mane, and Alisson. But even still, like we should still be going to Aston Villa away, who barely stayed in the Premier League last year. But they've made some good additions. We should be going there and minimum getting a draw. Minimum.
I mean, this season, what it's shown is that anyone can beat anyone, right? In the Premier League, it's always been the case. With that being said, you shouldn't be shipping 7 goals away at Aston Villa. That shouldn't be happening. A team that's just won the Premier League in the manner that we just won the Premier League. But yeah, I guess maybe a bit of a wake-up call. I think the only positive that we can take out of this is that these lads are going to be pissed the fuck off and looking to make an impact against Everton. Now, with that being said, I am worried about the Everton attack if we're going to defend like that. But I think they're going to run their heads off against Everton. But they're going to have to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was going to run through the rest of the goals, but let's just leave it because the only shots.
One specific one that I want to touch on is it Watkins' hat-trick goal? The free kick.
Yeah.
No one tracked back.
Was it a free kick?
The ball went into the ball went in by Barkley, and it found Trezeguet. And fair enough, like you can say it looked like it was going out, but then when Trezeguet crossed it across goal, there were like 3 or 4 Villa players there waiting, and the only Liverpool player in sight was Robertson, who was still miles behind. Like, I think that just epitomised the performance. It was just a sort of, we're going to stop and just watch the ball and see what happens, and Villa were just on it. I mean, as bad as Liverpool were, Villa were amazing. Villa played
they were. Credit where it's due. Like, I think we were. It was like everyone for once. All these players were all leaders, pretty much all captains for the country. A lot of them, they all kind of were looking to each other, going, "Who's going to be the one to raise the performance and us follow suit?" It was one of them. Like, we were waiting for someone to go right, and like I said, Salah did it twice. Scored 2 good goals, and it was kind of like, "Come on, boys, let's try and get back in it." But it was just. It's one of those results that is just completely a fluke. 3 deflected goals, we conceded 7. Our worst defeat for 57 years. It's one of them where we're like, we all can't believe it. It's hilarious when you actually sit down and think about it. Like, we were that bad, you've just got to laugh. Especially when you've just watched Man United get beat 6-1 by Spurs, and we're all laughing at it.
They could have had more as well.
Yeah, I mean, they hit the bar when you're thinking, what the fuck is Adrian doing with that one?
Yeah.
It's crossed it, like he's gone off to buy a fucking Echo, and he hit the bar. It's like, what are you doing, Adrian? Like I said, 3 deflected goals. You can't. It's not an excuse, but like, when's that ever happened? I'm sure the commentator said we conceded 1 last year in the whole season, or something like that, and we conceded 3 in one game. Like, it was just a collision cut, like a meteoroid flying from fucking Mars, and it was just like, it was literally like it was destined to hit Villa Park and just ruin Liverpool. It was just I don't know what it was. It was just the stars aligned for them. They were amazing. No credit, fucking hell, they were boss. But we were just at the absolute end of that scale and so bad that a 7-2 scoreline was probably generous on us, weren't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. We could have been down by 8, 9, 10, because every time they went forward, they looked like they were going to score, and they probably deserved to score. We looked panicked in defence for the first time in years. But it's like you say, it's like we were waiting for a leader. And I just feel like if Jordan Henderson's on that pitch, I'm not saying we don't lose, but he'd get their act together sort of quickly. I don't think he's the kind of player that'll just allow it to happen. Not maybe not have an influence on other people, but it's him merely just running his ass off, which he always does. I just hope he's back for Everton.
Yeah, well, I was just going to touch on that. The subs, he was on the bench yesterday, Henderson, and the subs we made, like you said, were Minamino at half-time for Keita, Jones for Gomez on 61, and Milner for Firmino on 68. Like, and I know that old cliche is if he's fit enough for the bench, he's fit enough to play. For me, if he's on the bench, and I'm never going to be questioning Jurgen Klopp, especially not now. Maybe if this happens more often, I will, but not now. If Henderson's fit for the bench, for me, I would start him 100%. If not, then at half-time, Joe Gomez is clearly having an absolute shocker. I think I text you saying, Gomez off, Hendo on, fab centre-back. Get someone in there. It was 4-1 at half-time. We still had a slight glimmer of hope that we might get in that game, but we needed the goal before 60 minutes, definitely. And I think we got one on 60. But I think then they scored again. But it's like we need someone in there. And I know Milner. We can talk all day about how good James Milner is. He's great, but he's 34 years old, and he doesn't have the same effect on this team that Jordan Henderson does. Yeah. Jordan Henderson's the first name on the team sheet, and without him in that team, I think it's becoming more and more common sense now, but with Liverpool fans, that he is the first name on the team sheet, because without him in that team, major gaps and major flaws can be the opposition can have a field day pretty much, because they know that no leader in there.
He plays next to Trent or on that wing, and when Trent bombs forward, Henderson's sliding behind and he's waiting. I think the only reason that Henderson didn't play is because waiting. I think Klopp knew. I get Minamino coming on at half time. Because he's a bit more attacking, he wants the ball, he's a bit more intricate. But I guess the only way I can justify it is that Klopp knew that this ain't happening. And why risk him when just give him a couple more weeks and start him against Everton? I do think that Everton is going to be Van Dijk and Fab at the back, and Henderson in the midfield. Based off of that performance, I think you do need unless he has a blinder in training, and you can rebuild his confidence. I think Gomez has to be benched, and I think it's harsh. It's a gut reaction, but sometimes that's what's needed. We saw it with Lovren against Spurs. He had a shocker a couple of years back when we lost, 4-1 or something like that, and he yanked him off at halftime or before halftime. We didn't see Lovren for a while, and then when he came back for Lovren's levels, he did all right. I think Gomez needs to be benched, Fab needs to come in, and then when Matip's fit, there's going to be a serious conversation as to who partners Van Dijk.
Yeah, and it's just a shame, because between Gomez and Matip, they're not reliable at all. Injury-wise, that's the only problem. I know Matip's getting on now. I think he's 29. He's coming towards the end of his career, but he's still great. But it's just getting him fit and into that team. I mean, I think last year we went through spells where it was Gomez first choice, then Matip was injured. Matip came back, he went back into the team, Gomez was injured, and it was just kind of flitting between them two. Yeah. But now Matip's I don't know when Matip's back, to be honest. I don't know if he's back after the international break. I have no idea. No. But it's like you said, it's a serious conversation they need to have. Who's going to be we know Gomez is the long-term partner for Van Dijk. We know that. Yeah. We know Van Dijk could probably play till he's 30, 38 or whatever. It's effortless to him. So we could have at least 3-4 years of learning next to the best centre half in the world and making himself more established in the England team, and he could go on to be great. But he needs the games like yesterday. Like, he's picking up the ball. He's just not aware of what's around him. Like, he took 3 or 4 touches, and their left winger just ran in and poked it away from his foot, and they were on the attack. It's just stuff like that where you need to be more aware of your surroundings. And he's great at like carrying the ball up from the back. Like, he's great at that, and his pace. You can't overstate how good that pace is to have back there, because we've always, the last 20 years, we've always lacked pace back there. Looks Skirtle, Carragher, Agger, and just people like that who are just really slow. And we've got genuine speed back there now, so we should be embracing it. But it's stuff like that, like, you think he's great and he's going to be even better in the future. But it's stuff like that, like you said, maybe take him off the limelight for the Everton game and a couple of games after. Throw Fab in there, who's hasn't put a foot wrong. Even when he went second half, he went centre half next to Van Dijk. He was good. He was always getting his foot in there, keeping it simple. I think that's just what we need against Everton, because they're fucking flying. 4 wins out of 4. I'm not going to say we need to win that game, but it's going to be maybe the most difficult derby we've had for a long time that I can remember. What about you?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think I don't want to bag on Gomez too much, but I think the issue is, and I think the reason why he's struggling so much lately, especially against Villa, is that Trent can't defend, but going forward, Trent's a lot better than he is defensively. He's very suspect defensively, so Gomez is finding himself very isolated on that right flank. I'm
missing Henderson there, like you said. That's the key,
yeah.
Because he slots in there when he goes forward, doesn't he? So
yeah, he's getting, because Trent's not there. Henderson's not there to cover for him, so then Gomez is getting dragged out of position, having a run back. Van Dijk's getting dragged out because of that. Robertson's getting dragged in because of that. It's a whole effect. I'm not saying take out Trent, because the guy going forward brings so much and he's vital to this Liverpool team. But we definitely need to sort out our right side defensively. It's a gap that not many teams have been able to exploit yet. It got exploited last night. And if Villa can exploit it, then this Everton team can. I think we'll be a lot more defensively compact against Everton. I think just the mere shock value of what's happened is going to make these guys wake up. There'll be a plan anyway to deal with James and Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. But it is going to be a tough derby. What I'd say is that this Everton team can be got at. Defensively, they're not great. They're shipping chances. So we just need to take them. But they are going to make chances as well. And we just need to hope that defensively we're a lot better than last night, which isn't going to be hard to be better than last night, let's be honest.
Yeah, and I think, like you just said, Everton can be got at. Like, they conceded 2 to Brighton. And, I mean, I didn't watch the whole game, admittedly, but I watched the match of the day. There was loads of chances that Brighton had that they weren't whipping the ball into the box. Like, Pickford, he is just absolutely shocking. And we talk about Adrian being shocking.
Yeah.
Jordan Pickford, England number 1, and I don't know how, because I think their first goal, it's a routine catch for any keeper, and he drops it and he scores from it. It's like, if Adrian does that, we're all absolutely killing him. And it's like, imagine Adrian was our number 1. We wouldn't have won anything. Like, I know it's a bold statement, but there's no way we would have won anything. There's no chance, because you can't. If your keeper's that bad, you're not gonna go anywhere. It doesn't matter how many goals you score. And like, Calvert-Lewin's on absolute fire. James Rodriguez is an inspired signing, 29 years old. He's great to the Premier League, great for Everton. He's doing great things, but I still think, like, Calvert-Lewin, is he going to be enjoying going up against Van Dijk, who's going to beat him in the air 80% of the time? No chance. Like, James on the right, is he going to enjoy coming up against Andy Robertson, who doesn't stop running and won't give him an inch? Absolutely not. It's going to be tight. Richarlison on the other side. That's the only thing that I'll be worried about, Richarlison against Trent. But if Henderson's back in the team, like you said, you've got that solidity on the right hand side of the 3 midfielders. So we just need a bit of normality coming back in. And it wouldn't surprise. I said this. I didn't tweet it because I thought people would just give me shit. But it wouldn't surprise me if we beat Everton like 3-0. It wouldn't surprise me at all, because I just want to ask you: do you think this is going to be the catalyst for us to go on a massive win streak? Like, Saturday the 17th of October, after the international break, we play them. It's going to be a tricky game, but I honestly think with Mane back I know Alisson won't be back, but Thiago will be back in the mix. We'll have Henderson back in the mix. Normality should be resumed, and if it can only get better, can't it, after that performance?
I think playing Everton is perfect. I'm not sure. We'll see how they react. They were always going to react in a Merseyside derby. Like, you don't need to get pumped for a match against Everton. Now they've got the extra impetus of, we need to react. Like, we just got beat 7-2. Like, we need to prove up. We need to do something here. I do think we'll beat Everton. I don't think it'll be easy. But if we beat Everton comfortably, and I'm not talking about scoreline, but I'm talking like performance-wise, if we can just handle their attack and just confidently just play through them, then there's no reason why we can't go on a run. Last time we got smashed, we went on a run, and that was the Tottenham game. I think for a good chunk of the season we went unbeaten. That until City beat us, we went unbeaten. That was back in January. So I think from like October to January, it was unbeaten. We could go on a run. I think we will go on a run, but it does hang on this Everton game, which, like I said before, I think it is the perfect game to get back into the swing of things. I know that they're brilliant. They are on fire. People are getting a bit carried away with this Everton team as well. Like they are very good, but they strike me as the sort of team that once they lose one, they might go on a bit of a run. But yeah, tough, but I think we'll win.
Yeah, and like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if we went and won there 3-0. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But I think we'll have all the normal guys back in the team. Like, I think we're going to be missing Alisson until hopefully we play Man City away on the 7th of November. Hopefully he's back then. I mean, Klopp said between 4 and 6 weeks. So I'm hoping he's back then. If not, we play Leicester on the 21st. He's going to be back for either of those. Hopefully the Man City game. The only way they can beat us is if Adrian has another shocker, in my opinion. Don't care how good they're doing. There's a massive break now for the 17th of October. Everyone's going internationals. Their tails are going to be up. Yeah, fair enough. But they're seeing Thiago come back into the team. They're seeing Mane come back into the team. They're seeing Henderson come back into the team. They're not going to relish coming up against us. There's no way. Like you say, like coming up against a team who's just lost badly is the worst time to play them. And if you're coming up against the reigning Premier League champions who've just been beat 7-2 by Aston Villa, they'll be worried of a bite back. And I think, I hope to God anyway, it's going to happen. I mean, it's what they
look last season, like Southampton got thumped 9-1 at home, and then they went on a run. If Southampton can go on a run, Liverpool can go on a fucking run. I think Thiago will start. I think Henderson will start. And I think Fab will start at centre-back. Like, just Thiago in that team, if he starts, is going to shit him up. Him on his own. Mane being back, Salah continuing to be amongst the goals. Bobby needs a bit of confidence. He seems very hesitant to shoot, but I'm hoping that he gets one and then he just rolls with it. But hopefully Adrian can keep blunder free and think we roll on.
Yeah, I think the main battle's going to be midfield, isn't it? Like they've signed really well, to be honest. Like Sam Allen, Sam Doucouré, just like having some metal in there who not the most flashy players, but they're going to keep the ball ticking over. They're going to fight for every ball. They're good on the ball. They can make good passes happen in that midfield. And you've got James who's making them incisive passes in the final third. Like, you've got to hold your hands up and say it's that trio of signings have put them where they are, and it's fair play that they've all came in and done a job immediately for that team. So it's going to be an interesting one. But we've got, how long have we got? We've got like 2 weeks odd before that game, so we don't know what's going to happen injury wise. Hopefully none for Liverpool. Hopefully a couple for them. Actually, no, not a couple for them. Let's fuck it. Let's have them full. Because I don't want any fucking Everton fans going, oh yeah, we didn't have Hammers. That's why he's won, because that's what they like. So
I want Hammers to play because I think Liverpool need to do what Villa did to us yesterday, as an ice and listen, find their weakness. And yes, Hammers going forward is very good, but the guy doesn't defend to save. He just doesn't defend. As soon as Everton lose the ball, the guy's walked in. And you can't do that against Liverpool. And if he does, there's be space, and that's the space that we'll need to exploit. And if Thiago's playing, that space will get exploited.
Yeah, I think there's a stat on Match of the Day. Like, he's done no sprints. James Rodriguez done no sprints in his first game. Like 1 in his second game, 3 in his third game, and 2 in the last game. It's like, fair enough, going forward, he's great and he'll make things happen. But as a collective, Liverpool are usually, barring yesterday, a great unit and an absolute well-oiled machine. And if you don't put in the hard yards against us, we're going to punish it. And I think, like you said, that could go in our benefit if he starts, and I imagine he will start. Andy Robertson, if he plays, Robertson's going to have a field day, and he's going to have. I mean, coming up against Seamus Coleman, who's still good, he's going to have him one-on-one. He might have him. He'll go past him more often than not, and he'll make things happen because James isn't going to run back, is he?
No, he's a flair player. He's fair enough for Everton because Everton they've signed really smart because Doucouré and Allen are putting in the defensive work for him. So fair enough, have that quality player that just let him do whatever he wants. But defensively, it's going to bite him in the arse. Sometimes it is, especially against the top teams, Liverpool, Spurs, City. I think this is Everton's first real test as well, will be against Liverpool. So we'll see how it works out for them. I don't think it'll work out well for Everton. I think we will win. We will win. But again, they've got a lot of quality, so I'm not going to make any predictions just yet. I'm staying out of the prediction game for a while.
Yeah, I'm not doing no predictions after yesterday. Fucking hell, 7-2. Anyway, we'll leave it there. We could have chatted a lot more about all those individual goals and individual errors and absolute shite we've seen, but
let's not ruin another day, eh?
Onwards, things can only get better. Honestly, this team are absolutely unbelievable, and yesterday against Villa, it was just one of those days where everything went wrong and everything went right for the opposition, and we just have to accept that. Laugh about it.
Little blip.
Yeah, it's got to be, and if we lose against Everton, then it becomes more of a serious conversation. But for me, it's nothing's changed. We've only improved this summer, and we've missed some quality players yesterday. Like I touched on Mane, Alisson, the main one, and Thiago. But coming back to the Everton game, I think we should be fine. But yeah, we'll do another one of these near the game. Might be joined by Matt for his quadruple appearance. We'll see about that one. But give us a like, give us a comment about what you make of Matt, or should he lose the glasses or not. He had his hood up before we started. I had to tell him to put it down. Fuck me. But yeah, give us a little subscribe, leave a like, and we'll see you next time.